a button. Or Can Read does not require any internet connection, as everything is processed within the device. So whether it's a book at home in the evening, a newspaper in the morning, documents that come across your desk at work or at school, computer or smartphone screens, or even a novel on an airplane or a train, or Can Read can be used anywhere at any time.
This your boy F-O-R-E. What up, is DJ EFN? And this is Drink Champ. Y'all make some noise! Now, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna tell you straight up and down, this is gonna be the easiest interview we've ever had, we've ever conducted, and we've ever presented, because I watched these people's stories for the last 2 days. I know all these stories individually, but collectively, I gotta pick up. I don't know whose idea it was to bring y'all five together, even though the other person is there, but it's genius. Because at first I thought, I was like, damn, they got too much history. How can they fit it all in one thing? Oh, it's a series. Okay, boom. Even in a series, how does it all make sense? So if you're watching 1 and 2, the people that's coming out next week, I believe 3 and 4 will be out by then. It gets so crazy, EFN. Like, I'm telling you, and I thought like it was sacred. Like things were sacred. Some things was off the table. Like they were giving it up. Yeah. They're talking about this is so these 4 individuals that's here right now. It's very seldomly I get a chance to sit in front of 4 individuals that I solely respect, honor, look up to, and they're legends. They ain't got no dirty jackets, no dirty things on their back, no fuckery around they shit. They legends and they good people and are in front of us, and we're gonna show them super fucking love. Motherfuckers, I'm so sorry to start with you, but hit you with a kind of harsh question, because as I'm looking on episode 6, as you guys said, you didn't see it. Episode 6, they went into Nipsey Hussle rumors, right? And I had never heard that. I had never heard the Nipsey Hussle conspiracy that Big U had that something to do with it, right? But let me get to a little deeper question. The rumor has it is that Nip came up to this guy and said, I can't hang with you, or we can't be around because he was a rat, right? Let me ask you a question. It's kind of harsh. Was Nipsey supposed to say that? If you're not in the streets no more, is your opinion on the streets that valid? I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand it was 2 things. Well, let me ask you this, because what bothers me the most is when people say he got killed by one of his own homies. Right. Well, at some point he wasn't his homie. Right. Because he's like, nigga, you ain't supposed to be here. Right. If you fire somebody from Drink Champs, and a nigga pull back up to Drink Champs while y'all filming, you're gonna be like, nigga, wasn't that a disgruntled employee? That means he wasn't the homie. Like, so they did that part. Like, he wasn't the homie. And then secondly, Nip shouldn't have addressed that, because Nip knew who he was. Like, the nigga was they guy. Like, he worked for Nip, grew up with Nip, and he really was he was the man. He was a guy. He really was a shooter in the streets. And secondly, it ain't no paperwork on the man.
Wow.
So, I mean, we have yet to find
I'll tell you something that happened that day. It happened, what's the day Nipsey got, I think it was a Sunday, Nipsey, or something like that. I got approached with that same situation that Saturday. Dude came up to me in a restaurant. I was trapped. And he looked, he felt it, he said, I'm gonna let you know right now. People saying I'm a rat. And I was like, oh shit, like I didn't want to have this conversation. And like, he just said it straight out. And I was like, oh shit, he addressed me, so I didn't have to address him. But I thought to myself, I thought about Nipsey immediately when that happened the next day. I was like, yo, you know, that could have happened, that actual situation could have happened to me. But as a rapper, when I've been out of line to even question a real street dude.
I mean, Nip, you gotta understand, people want to separate Nip from the streets. Mm-hmm. You don't never really leave the streets. Like, right. Nip, this is where he grew up at, this is where he lived, this is where his business was. Right. So really, dude was in violation. If you knew, rat or not, if you know y'all not rocking, why you pull up in my space? You know what I'm saying? And Nip like, nigga, free my space. I ain't trying to go there with you, but free my space. And Nip's supposed to go there, because that's where he meet the kids, that's where he greet the people, that's where he still stay grounded. You know what I mean? Like, if he don't go there no more, he don't show up, he these other niggas, he leave LA and move somewhere else, he in Hollywood. He just took pictures with some little babies. You know what I'm saying? He had blessed a little girl and some more kids and was taking pictures with him. That's what he's supposed to do. He giving back. You know what I mean? His presence is gonna touch somebody else. So if a lane come up, if they beefing, whatever the reason is, he don't have to be snitching, have to be whatever. Nigga, you just was mad at the world, or you was mad at what the situation is. I'm not gonna stop going to my neighborhood. I live in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I live on the hill in my neighborhood.
Arlington, not Arlington.
Not on Arlington. I live Upton, where we always want to be. You know what I'm saying? For Arlington, we wanted to get to them houses up there. So I got to them houses up there. You know what I mean? But nah, man. I mean, it's a farce to think that violence ain't gonna follow you wherever it is. You know what I mean? It's gonna follow you wherever it's gonna follow you. And if it's meant for you to happen, it's gonna hit you. Period. That's real. Now, Dad, you got one of my favorite, like Bobby Brown also has my favorite cocaine story when he said he fried cocaine. He fried chicken with cocaine. And I just thought that was amazing. Like, who has that much cocaine that they can get rinse it with flour? I thought Bobby Brown had it. Until I heard your story, Dad. Yo, when I heard your story, I was like, yo, okay, do you know the story? No. Okay. You got the Chico. You got the story. This is all awesome. And no, which is really crazy because he know more than we know.
Through to the garage. You need me to bring you a ride?
We don't know what was going on. We don't know what was going on. And that's so weird to clear stuff up, because I was really going to check in when you said, this is going to be an easy crew right here. Like, we just was going to be just that easy. I know. But you really learned us.
I'll bring it by. Okay, I got stuff to do.
So much heroin in the house. Oh, you talking about the baby powder? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That shit was wild. Your mom's asked, I think your brother.
MMI, we expect the unexpected.
He said it's baby powder.
Sure.
And you actually thought it was baby powder.
Yeah, he said it.
But it was heroin.
It was heroin.
and you put it on his name.
Yeah.
No, she had so much heroin in the house that they thought it was baby powder. They put it on. How so what you knew that was heroin? How did you know? Because it's
I didn't know nothing.
She was a kid.
I thought it was baby powder. I was a kid. Yeah, I was a kid. I went upstairs. Like, after we took the shower, we was talking about, because you know, Johnson's was everything. You have to get your check. So we thinking it was. You smell it. What it smell like? And me and my cousin Sharon just kept doing it. But I really was going at it. And putting it up, it absorbed, and it was some real.
So did you like? Oh, you said your skin broke out or something like that?
No, I was nodding all over the place. I was throwing up and
Yo, I don't know.
It's only funny because she good.
I got a populate space.
Well, it wasn't good then because of the stuff. That's how I learned about black chalk, and it's crazy because as a kid I learned about that black chalk shit, about the stuff that they give you, and all the things, the stuff that they give you, and I learned that there inside of Queens General Hospital at that time when we went in, and I learned a lot of stuff. And I remember my dad, I could see him when he was there, and he was talking whoever they, it was like some doctors and everybody there was talking. But then I remember when we left with the back, I was so drugged up, and it was crazy because my mother was like, she was so angry because I got the blame for the shit that her husband did. So I asked the junkie she wants something to eat. What the hell? Asked the junkie that she wants something to eat. Like, that wasn't my fault. Like, I got blamed for going in there. It's the same thing with methanol. Thinking it's orange juice in your damn refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? My mother let me say that shit in a damn
refrigerator. Long time I could. That's why I like Sunny Delight. I don't drink Sunny Delight. Because Sunny Delight reminds me, Sunny Delight reminds me of methadone. Yes, just like, listen.
First thing I read, don't take no pills.
Don't take, yeah.
The pill here.
It's something that you had to know during that time. And for so long, I was so ashamed of so many things that went on with me, but I was a product of my environment. This is where I came from. You know what I'm saying? Which was really, really crazy because them bottles were sitting in the refrigerator, remember? I don't touch Sunny Delight because it's thick just like that shit. It is thick, and I know we had that before, on a fetal position in the front of the house, not knowing what the hell is going on. You get the shit beat out of you, what you beat my ass for? But it's in it. I didn't know any better because you have to still understand during that time, there was things that were still hidden from you. You could not know things like a child was to be seen but never heard. You couldn't, and you could not discuss whatever went on in your household, stayed in your household. You better not go outside and talk about none of this shit. You couldn't talk about these things. So those were all the things that were so deep, but yet you have all these people from all this time that's being judged by all this thing. Think about, like, I go into prisons and I talk to people, men and women. You know, I cry with them because I understand what you went through. I thank God for the people that was out there that really looked out for me and taught me differently. Because when you was wanting to be lawyers and doctors, I want to be the biggest dope dealer in the world. Like, you couldn't be bigger than me. And I was going to do something that no woman ever done. These are things that I was going to be able to do because I was taught early on. You could not tell me nothing about my daddy and what he knew. You understand what I'm saying?
It makes you look real. How much cocaine did you do with Bobby Brown?
Yo, you know what's funny?
I
need a drink, bro.
Come on. Come on. No, bust it open.
All right. So check it. One thing I did,
right? He called you out for $2 million. Yeah. You was a good friend. Good dealer, either or.
No. Yo, let me tell you something. I never sold none to my friends. Okay?
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Ever. You know what I mean? I sold people I ain't know.
That's real.
You know what I mean? And me and Bobby, we never, did drugs. I never sold him drugs. There's one time I seen Bobby. He got out of baby forward.
I tell us how bottles gonna
I knew that.
Okay.
He's in that.
No, we don't like that. We don't got no insurance here, baby. Please, about that. Don't say that.
Come on, man.
We got bad experience here with high bottles. Go ahead.
So check it. We in the limo one day, and I'm in the back seat with him. He in the middle. My other man here, two other guys here. It was this model dude. He light-skinned dude. I forgot his name. And he had passed Bobby a joint, but it was laced.
Okay. There's Woolers back there.
Yeah. So when he tapped it, I'm by the window, and I grabbed him, and I said, "Yo, I never believe what I heard. You doing that shit in front of me."
Right.
I just want to see what I would miss it. And threw it out the window. You know what I mean? So I don't condone my friends.
I respect that. Let's have a drink, nigga. Come on, let's have a drink.
Bobby's been around our family. Like, I know him since '74. Like, I was in Boston because, I was a bad kid, as usual. Got sent down to Dorchester, and that's where I first met them before they was anything. Our families are so much alike, it's pathetic.
Wow.
And they became like family to us, literally. Even though Billy was dipping and dabbing over there, but they were like family. We still look at them that way. I'm not telling it to you right here. I'm not really snitching. We tell the story. We tell the story, right?
You gangsters here, you don't even talk about
it. No flies. No flies.
Okay, but they were like family, literally, and for every one of them is one of us. You know how it is?
Family, right?
Yeah, we were so much alike. And outside of what people hear in the media, when you learn these people like Nippy, you know what I'm saying? Like getting to sit with her and really knowing her. Whitney. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like you said, Whitney, knowing the inside of her and who she is, the real person of who she is, and who she really was. When I look at her and I look at people like, look at this singer, but nobody knew she really wanted to be a veterinarian. She didn't want to be a singer.
Wow.
So if you really sat down with her and talked, she wanted to be a veterinarian. She didn't want to be a singer. You understand what I'm saying? So it's because of the family and all the stuff that was there. When the media sensationalized so many things and you don't really know that person, just like each one of us. Like you hear whatever you hear in the streets, whatever you hear in the media, the social media shit, but you don't really know us.
Exactly. Make some noise for that. That was hard. Now, so let me ask you, Trick, because I don't understand, what is the no-fly zone? What does that mean? Because I mean, I've come to Detroit and had marvelous times.
We shot movies together.
So, but what is the no-fly zone mean?
It was for record labels.
Okay.
The record labels used to have like street teams, and that was back in the A&R days. You know, they would have a promo team, take the artists, you know, A&R take the artists to different locations, and it was like they were just coming to Detroit and wasn't picking up nothing. It was like they would charge the local artists to perform. They would charge the local artists to perform, and the local artists would bring 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 people sometimes to this event that will pay to get in. It's like, how is you charging them and they bringing you revenue?
Wow.
You know, and then, you know, when it kept happening with the little homies and they was just doing it because they got money, like, you know, fuck that, man.
I mean, paying them about it was just their own stage.
Exactly. And it was radio as well. Like, you know, the Summer Jams events didn't consist of mostly Detroit artists. They consist of everybody from everywhere else, and the Detroit artists would get charged. And I was like, fuck that. Stop everything. Now the only entertainment around this bitch gonna be what's here.
Right.
So we gonna get acquainted with what we got around these corners, and then we'll start letting a few trinklets in one at a time. And if anybody violated, we deal with that, of course. You know.
Because what's Young Berg, like the first one? I don't think he came on tour or something.
No,
right?
he was like a little, you know, he's just opening his fucking gums on some other shit with my cousin. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have nothing to do with it. Like me. When that happened to him, bro, I was over there talking to his bodyguard.
Oh, really?
During his assault, I was having a conversation with his bodyguard because his bodyguard was trying to bring a pistol in my club, and I had a rule. The only pistol packing in this motherfucker is gonna be me or the police or my security.
Okay.
So dude was trying to say he worked for the DEA and all this. And I'm like, dude, I know this guy because, you know, it's basically pick up a local security. So I'm like, no, bro, you know, basically you cannot bring a pistol in here. Chill, don't worry about it now. The artist then came in the door and went further down the vestibule, the balcony, brother. I'm still behind my bar, next to the ice freezer, talking to him on the other side of the bar. A fight broke out down that way. I moved him out the way, ran down there. I seen one of my little homies with the juke. He coming in for the, and hey! And I wrapped him up. Hey, what the fuck is you doing? Hey, y'all get this shit out of here. Everybody, get the fuck out. Get it out. Turned back around, went back over to where the bodyguard was at, and started having to continue my conversation. His phone rang. He did like this and took off running out the door.
The security.
That security. Okay. No, Berg security.
That's what I mean.
So he came back, his name was Franz or some shit like that. He came back in and he said, that was Berg. And I said, who is Berg? He said, that was Berg, they just took his chain. I was like, well, motherfucker, I'm standing there talking to you. Why are you telling me about what the fuck? I ain't seen nobody chain no nothing. So later on, one of my other little homies, very, very close little homie, came to me and was like, look, got that thing. And I said, get that shit out of here. Because to me, that's evidence in the assault and robbery.
Right.
So get the fuck out of here. The little homies start having their own little quarrel about it. Who was gonna get it, who was gonna say, all right, tell you what, ain't nobody gonna take it. I got it. We ain't finna do that over this shit. I'll take it. I took it home, put it in the fucking towel closet.
Trying to picture it. All right, let's go.
Hall closet, top shelf, towels. No, it was glass and stainless steel. So I took it. So I went to the studio, normal course of business, and my older sister, Monique, called me and she said, you know your daughter on the internet with some chain or something. My sister's an evangelist, so she don't know none of this shit. She said, I've been getting calls that your daughter, Lil Money, is on the internet with some chain or something. And I'm like, I just dropped my head like, no fucking way. Like,
So I called, and she sent me the picture. I called my daughter, put her on an immediate 6-month punishment. No, wait, let me back up something. Yeah, man.
I'm thinking Dade County Jail.
Hold on, you can't mix that, man. You can't mix egg spade. It's good shit. Oh, you know, this don't mix with this with nothing. It's like caviar, baby.
Okay, I can dig it. Let me back up.
Get another cup.
After I got it from, Lil Bro picked it up from the Lil Homies first. Lil Bro took a picture in the diesel. He took a picture with it on, I think that night or the next night. And that picture, boom. I'm like, fuck. This when I tell him, bro, it's evidence. No, not this, bro. He told me somebody hacked in my phone, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then I took it home. Then my sister called me and said my daughter. Then I went home, grabbed the fucking chain. Grabbed the fucking chain, brought it to the studio, and called all the little homies and said, everybody, come up here right now and take a picture with this piece of shit. So we're not finna have just my household. You finna get everybody. We got older white women and everything. I told my man Brian bring his mama Teresa, God bless her. She just took all that picture. Hey Brian, tell Mama T come on up here, dog, take a picture of this goddamn thing. They brought the mama and the auntie. So you know you got 2 old white ladies with it on, you got the other guys, and they take, listen, you take a picture over there, you take it outside, you get in your car and take a picture with it, you get in the back of your car and take a picture with it. You gonna make this motherfucker, and then we took the bitch on tour. We took the motherfucker on tour because it became a piece of the show novelty during this song I got called You Can Get Fucked Up. When Diesel walk off the stage and me and my DJ, baby bro DJ Thriller, have a little conversation right quick, and then it's like, cause you can get fucked up. And when the beat and Diesel come out there with the bitch on, and the audience erupted every time. I remember Ice Cube was like, hey man, I don't know if y'all should be out here with that.
Now, big up the young bird, though. I know he's gonna be mad at me. Biggie, how many chains have you got returned?
Oh shit!
You in the hundreds? It's like lost prevention, this motherfucker. Yeah, it's like you lost the battle and then lost Angeles. Like you know how people
all over, not just Los Angeles, all over shit.
And you think you in the hundreds?
I help motherfuckers get shit back all the way in Canada.
Damn.
Yeah, we got a little squad out there in Canada. You know, I mean, it's almost everywhere.
Wow.
It's almost
how
like.
How many big chains you got back, or like jewelry or some shit?
Bro, I be getting shit back and don't even know I get it back. Niggas just lie and say I called.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I know a motherfucker that did a robbery out of somebody's house for $500. And the little niggas then gave the money back to them because they used my name. And then I called and find out women. The little niggas like, man, we gave the money back. So you gave what money back? And I'm mad because I don't give money back. You can get jewelry back. And then call my son because it's so crazy. It's so crazy because why this documentary makes so much sense is because people don't know that about the 4 of us.
And you gotta call it something better than a documentary.
You know what I mean?
I can't even let you. It's better than a documentary, man. Like, listen, bro, listen. I want you to finish.
Go ahead, do it.
I started out knowing it was gonna be good because I know y'all stories. And I love, like I said, whoever's at FX, I don't know what kind of connect y'all got there, but the way they lined it up.
We had a hell of a team.
Listen,
we had a hell of a team.
The 2 episodes they do is just to grab you in. Yeah. And then once you in, it's that episode 3 where Haitian Jack starts talking about the pot, and you can tell he ain't give him. And it's like, then y'all start going deep and deep, and I was just like, yo, how they put it together? Because like I said, like Bimby's a story by itself. You're a story by itself. You're a movie by itself. You're a movie by itself. For them to put it together and perfectly intertwine that,
tie y'all together.
The way they tied that shit together, and then every state, it's like it was crazy because y'all 5 people done touched every state. All of y'all went on a run in Atlanta, though. I don't know why. Everybody went on a run in Atlanta. Like everybody ran in Atlanta. What's going on? You went in Atlanta.
It's black makeup, man.
Wow, it really.
But you know what's crazy? The craziest thing, and even for me, this was very therapeutic for me.
Wow.
Because I didn't even realize.
Being
being able to talk about it it was like opening Pandora's box and releasing shit up out of there, because coming from the era that we came from, you don't talk. But then you really, even though you know about people, you really start learning things, right? Like, even for him, like, I love this nigga. But I started saying, after I started looking at this, what the hell was wrong with you saying something to this man? He could have really did something to you, because he's really out to lunch.
But gangsters is most gentlemen. I kid you not. And like, when I see somebody who's loud, boisterous, and trying to be tough, usually the guy I look over. The real dudes is the one holding the elevator for you, holding the groceries for your mom. Those are the niggas that's nice. I'm like, that nigga, that's the killer right there. So, but like I said, intertwined. So I just wanted you to finish up. So about the jury thing, and you said it's just not in Los Angeles.
No, it's not just in Los Angeles.
You get calls everywhere, like literally, even from me. I've got calls in the middle of the night, like this one got me, especially in Cali. Like, they really was going through it. But calling you in the middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, your phone ringing, like, could you help? And they know. I'm just still not gonna do that, so don't try it, Nori. I'm not gonna throw people under the bus. Some shit go to my grave with me. But they know.
I'm gonna try.
As a woman, still being able to call, like, yo, what's up? What you doing? You know, being able to call somebody and to do these things, like, it's crazy. Because a lot of people went through a lot of things, and especially a lot of them that run around here like they gangster. Like they really badass.
It comes from, because I was just with my homeboys that ride motorcycles. They do the red breeze.
I seen you on the Harley too. I seen you.
I ride. And when I go to certain places, like if I go to Atlanta, I check in with Beard, right? That's my homeboy.
Okay.
And he has me with a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of these youngsters who come into the game, like she'll tell you, ain't never had more than $1,500 in their life. They get a song, get hot, they get 15,000. Now 100,000. They bring their whole squad with them, and they hitting city to city, right? And then next thing you know, you somewhere and you see these youngsters. They on the east side at Waffle House, or they at where I see y'all at? Where I see y'all at? No, y'all was at what's the name restaurant? With Tip's son. He got Tip's son.
Okay.
And they on the east at the Roscoe's. They on the east side of Roscoe's. I walk in Roscoe's on some different business because some other shit didn't happen, and I come in here to take care of some other business with some weed. It ain't no nice business.
Right.
I walk in Roscoe's. He in there with T.I.'s son.
Wow.
And T.I.'s little son on there. I'm like, what the fuck is y'all doing here? I called Tip. I said, what Nephew and them doing here? They don't have no clue where they at.
Where they at? Yeah.
They just there. They thinking it's Roscoe's. You at the wrong Roscoe's. There's 3 more Roscoe's. Go to the ones, either the one by my neighborhood or the one in Hollywood. If they at the wrong, but they at the wrong Roscoe's. Which one is the wrong? All of them. No, they on the east side.
Oh, okay.
You gotta call Magic. But what I'm saying is, this is our babies. So if he get into it with something, he ain't gotta call me. It's gonna be my problem regardless. But he in the wrong fucking place at the wrong fucking time. And now all the dudes out there looking like, I had to tell Nephew. I said, man, I called his daddy. I said, man, tell this nigga don't we just run around here all like this. You know what I mean? Which he good. It's his city. But they end up in the wrong places. They get a bag, they get a little bit, they move it. And I had to call, and I call his daddy. So this happens every single day in LA. And it happens more than you even hear about it. So when you say it's an appropriate question, how many you get back? Bro, I get them back and they don't even know about it. And then you know what happens? After they get another crew, they meet some dudes from out there, from the town, they side up, and now they forget they know your name. And tell them niggas that they fucking with, rob the shit out of them, fall out, they end up dead somewhere, and you know what I mean? So now, you remember me? I was nigga helped you in the beginning?
And once somebody try to use you because they know something somebody did to you, they be like, yo, guess where I'm at? Yo, guess who's in here with me right now? Yo, I got this nigga if you want it. What's up, Dad? Just tell me. They just want you to just give the okay to say, get him.
That's all they
get him. They just want you to just say it. And it's it's funny because you might even be talking shit and don't even know who you near.
Wow.
You don't know because nobody talks, nobody say nothing. It's amazing to me how I can sit there and say shit to people that you said you don't even know who you was talking to.
Wow.
You don't even know that I was on the phone listening to the shit you was saying. And I could have said, get him.
I have a driver that, a few drivers and police officers that call me and say, hey, you cool with this dude?
Oh, yeah.
Because he just named that we picking him up.
Oh, niggas know Detroit. You know Detroit. You literally went to Detroit. The whole, like, I feel like
you still get people that come in there and, like, just, but that's fine. I ain't worried about you. The point is, you there, and you haven't thought to try to find me, and somebody is on your ass already.
But every time I hung out with you, you a cool nigga. Why would niggas wouldn't hit you up, though? I don't understand that.
They don't want to have fun. Shit.
But let me ask you, baby, because we're going to settle a lifelong question right now. A Drake Chance question.
Oh, good.
Come on, I need everybody. You made the phrase,
Yes.
that was big.
Yes.
Oh, wow. G-O-A-T.
Yes.
When LL first presented that, you was the guy.
Yes.
That was Jack.
Take a drink of that. Salute. So I've heard you say it. I've heard it been thrown around. But seeing you say it on that Fox screen, on that FX screen, I just think, I said, wait a minute. I need to ask this. So LL comes to you.
No, he didn't come to me. We just come from Cali.
Okay.
It was on a plane.
Okay.
I'm in.
Y'all was going back to Cali?
Back in New York. I'm in 2A and 2B. He in FE or something like that. His seat here, my seat here.
Clearly y'all first class.
Yeah, first class. So we trying to figure out a name for the album. So we going back and forth with names. So then he said, his last name I remember, he said General Ukwembe. I don't know who the hell that is, but he said that.
He wasn't calling it that?
Yeah. Oh, so he said that. So everybody know I play ball. I'm a ball player.
Right.
So one of my idols is Earl the GOAT, Manigault. So then I said, the GOAT.
But that was when he was using the GOAT as Earl the GOAT?
No, he said, I heard him say Muhammad Ali the greatest.
Right.
But one thing he did say, he abbreviated and said greatest of all time. He did say that. You know what I mean? But when I
Earl.
No.
Oh.
LL said that.
Okay.
LL said, when I said the GOAT, I said, yo, you the GOAT. You know what I'm saying?
What you need, boss? Some wheels? I can bring them around.
You know, he's a rapper, so so he brought in the letters.
Did rapper shit.
Yeah, rapper shit.
Yeah.
So then we came with the GOAT, and then when I came in the building, you know how it goes. You come to the president's like, yo, this is the name of the album.
Right.
So then, your boy Jay-Z got, niggas like, GOAT.
That was the discrepancy? What was the discrepancy?
Because he called himself the GOAT.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of rappers was mad.
Yeah.
It's coming at you.
About it. I'm like,
I'll get back to work.
Niggas, man. You know what I mean? Like, you the GOAT, bro. You the GOAT.
All right. Now, another thing, you said in the thing.
Hold on, I'm gonna cut you off.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell people how me and you met.
Shit, man, I ain't gonna lie. I be with the old niggas, man. I don't know. Shit, nigga, I was a young nigga.
I don't forget shit.
Okay, tell me.
I'm gonna tell you how we met.
Okay, bet.
My little man E in a wheelchair.
Okay.
He moved in your side.
Okay. Yeah.
He had a problem.
Okay.
And I brought 2 guys over there.
Okay.
Came over there. And now you was I know. And I said, and he said, you can't mean you had a steering match.
Okay.
We just looked at each other like on some shit. Like,
okay.
But my nigga, we ready, you ready. But you by yourself, you walked up by yourself.
Okay.
And you was right. And I was like, my man E was like, yo, no, he good. And he told you, yo, he good. And we squashed him.
Yep.
Right there. I remember that day.
Yes, I remember that. But here's something. Let me just tell you something. This was something that touched me. Pause. Was when, because I didn't know how much you deserved to be in Def Jam. Like, I thought you just the gangster just being hired, right? But when you said how deep you was in the game, where Tina Davis actually, you said you actually named her name.
You gotta say that. You got, what's next we got?
You actually named her name. You said Tina Davis. And then you said you went in her office, and to your face, you said, yeah, I don't want you to have these artists like how you had these other artists.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you, like, that's industry shit?
No.
It's industry one-on-one.
You know what's crazy? Me and Tina had a great relationship.
Wow.
Like, I go to her crib, I don't smoke weed.
Right.
I go to her crib and smoke weed. Because she came from LA, she had nobody, no family, so, I became her family.
Right.
So I come to her crib, I'm in her room, smoking, no sexual, nothing, none of that. Me, I'm just cool. Because she was the boss, she was my boss. So me and her got real tight. We try to find a movie theater, we do a lot of things together. So, one day, Dub C said, Dub C, like, yo, I want you
to the West Coast.
No, I flew to the West Coast first, and then me and Dub C back at the Chin Chin on Sunset. We vibing, because we just meeting. So we going through our thing with her. He said, yo, we gotta go to Florida to Circle House. So we go to Circle House in Florida, and Dub C said, yo, my nigga, Tina don't want us to work together. So I'm like, huh? So it caught me by surprise. So now, I get back to New York. I go to Kevin Lyles. I said, yo, Kev, I said, Tina tell my artists they don't want to work with me. He said, yo, man, y'all gotta work that out. I go to Tina. Yo, Tina, why you tell my artists that you don't want to work with me? Now, Tina says, you ain't gonna have him where you got everybody on the label.
Right. You say that in the documentary, but I don't understand what you mean by that. What does he mean?
Everybody know my background, but they seen the records I'm putting out. They see,
and he was busting ass.
Yeah, I was busting the whole album. So, and Bizek produced the whole album, and I got caught out there because I went to New York. They give me a point on every album.
Right.
And I said, yo, I ain't getting no fucking extra money. Shit is going platinum. Shit is. And he said, you gotta do a diamond to get money off these albums with a point. They had to do a diamond. They had to do 10 million.
10 million.
You know what I mean? For me to get some extra money. So I'm like, fuck. Only one doing 10 million is the white people. You know what I mean? I'm not. You know what I mean? So boom. So Kev, I was going to meetings. I went to LA. I said, L. You know what I mean? I'm not going back there. L said they didn't give me a worth anyway. So I said, I'm not going to work.
Yeah, but my point is, like, was that the first time you felt like, oh, this is not the streets? You know what I'm saying? Because, like that shit is kind of standard in the industry. No, it's just look at you, smile in your face, and as soon as you turn around, stab you in the back. Like like on the streets, that's violation. But here, like that was my biggest transition. Was like, yo, I can't strangle everybody that. You know what I mean? Like, so was that their first industry moment? Oh, okay. Right.
It was like really in the beginning because where I come from is really the trenches. So when I be around you know, you in the streets, so you know, you go in the building. You know how to pipe down. You know how to just sit back and just, be quiet.
Right.
You know, watch the bullshit, but you like, but as long as don't come near, you know what I mean? But you got to take it. I'm in meetings, this guy talking on a turn, this girl talking, you just looking at all of them like, but even when I see Kaiser, he would say to me, like, I didn't know you, my Kaiser, I didn't know you're not supposed to know. Like Jack said, like Haitian Jack said, you ain't supposed to know. So I'm not coming in here on some bullshit. I know us at this table, we all blackball already before we come in the building. Like how you just said, that you street, you ain't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's how we always been.
So can I ask you a question? Let me ask you this, because this is just some real ass shit. Like when you're talking about the industry, you're talking about the streets, right? Most of the people that's in there, they use the streets inside of the building. So how do you not handle them that way when you know where they really come from, but you know what they really turned into? I effed up in there one time inside it. I was so goddamn mad at the bullshit that they was doing, and I called somebody on Uncle Tom. And everybody at the table turned around. You should have seen how they looked at me. They was pissed.
This is an Atlantic office?
You know it.
I'm trying.
But you know it. And it's just where it happened at. Yes. And yes, it did. And I stood up. They was heated. Dad, why would you say that? The fuck you mean, why would I say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, this bitch-ass nigga gonna sit up here and do this shit to me. You know what time it is, but this is what you gonna do to me. But you know what they want you to do. And you gonna actually come in my face and try to pacify me? when I know what fucking time it is?
Wow.
So how do you ignore something like that when you know where they came from, you know how they playing you, you know why they're hired to come and appease you, to try to shut you down and slow you down, and it became bad because me being a woman that came in there, first when I came in there, first they didn't know, they didn't put 2 and 2 together that I was his big sister.
Yeah, I did too recently. I did already because y'all both legends are separate. Like this is crazy. Like they legends separately. Word, that's it as hell. Like, and I'm talking about I'm from Queens, so I know her story on her own, and it's like that just making them talk like
they didn't put it together. When I went in the building, it was different. It was different when I went into the building. It became different because they would then say, that's been me. See, after a while, because the first time I bucked up in there, when we was talking about the car, first time I bucked up in there, Todd, I ain't got no goddamn problem saying that shit. Todd Moscow, everybody know. When he started that Twitter shit, you know what he about to start doing. But he started his bullshit, and that's when I flipped out. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And they knew, and that's when they brought him up like, oh, you know that's his sister. You know what I'm saying? But we different people. We different people. You know? So, and it was just crazy. And then from there is when, okay, we got to get her up out of here. We got to move her away from everybody. We got to do it because you can't play with me. Or when they came to me and like did one of these things, like, here, just sign over on this, and we do this, and this, and we're going to give you.
Is it harder because like at one point you had like the 3 artists you discovered? This is 3 of the biggest artists. We had Gucci, Nicki, and French, right? Is it harder because you're a woman, or do it?
See, I never looked at it like that. You have to understand, even if you listen in there, I didn't run with women.
Right.
I have women that I was around. Right. Like if you tell some of them, they're gonna look at you. Each one of them will tell you something different. Right. Like I learned the amount of lives that I lived. And I learned that how it was being the multiple people that I was. And it's really, really crazy. I hung out with men. I did a lot of shit. I was right behind him and shit, and he didn't even know stuff that was going on with some of them niggas and the stuff that them niggas was coming to me.
She told Prince one day, Preem nephew, kill my brother.
Oh yeah, nigga, it's on.
Wait, what?
It's on.
You killed my brother, you know what time it is.
Oh, I heard it different.
That's my nigga. But you talk about killing my brother, my nigga, it's on.
I heard that through the streets, like, you know what I mean, what she did.
See, he didn't even know I did that when I went to Stephen. When he was coming for him, I went to him. Because they came to me.
And the crazy shit about I live with him.
Yeah, this is another thing that's so crazy. But even when you say...
Queens was wild, like...
Crazy, bless your heart, bless your heart. But this is another thing that's like so ill, that when you're doing all of this stuff, like even in this music industry, like you're talking about LA, you're talking about Detroit, you're talking about Atlanta, you're talking about New York, you're talking about going into the States. I remember, like, especially with Gucci, because you know everybody named mother wanted to hit his ass. You know what I'm saying? But I remember we was in the airport, and I'm going down the escalator, because it was so crazy this down the airport. I said, F that shit, we go to New York tomorrow, whatever. But I get a phone call, and it said, yo, you got on da-da-da-da-da, your flight is da-da-da-da-da, you coming into da-da-da-da-da. And they come, he said, I just got the call. And they said they had to hold up, your sister's with him. But you put on something, my nigga. You know where I come from. You just didn't know who I was. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you went to put this order out on him, but that phone call came to Queens, letting my other brother know. Your sister's coming in, and this is what they doing. Wow. He said, Deb is in the airport right now, coming over with her. Let Deb know. Now we're making a call. Now this whole thing could have backed up and backfired on you. Because we held that kind of weight like that. And it's like, Deb, what's up? Like, once I called them, like, are you serious? You know what I'm saying? So you don't know, but that's the order, because we didn't go through boroughs. We just didn't go through Manhattan to do something. And I ran everywhere. I was in multiple gangs when I came up. I was in multiple gangs. Even when the fight was, I could sit on the bench watching everybody fight against each other, because I was cool with everything. How many jackets did I have? Okay, I was cool with everyone. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a bunch of different things. I ain't a real clip person. I'm cool. Yeah, I had jackets, I had colors. I was wearing colors. Yeah. You know, and it was crazy, like the stuff that I was doing, all the different things that I did. But I never went somewhere, like even in Detroit to this day, like Detroit, I feel like the President of the United States when I come to Detroit. The way they come to the airport to come get me, the way that they are there, I get crazy love and they try to love Detroit.
Detroit's airport, though. Yeah, airport. That's what I do. This airport. You got
into his city and put something together that he's doing. It's disrespectful. I don't think chicken didn't mean anything. You know, the real shit.
Word is not like that in myself and the shit you monitor that. I'm going to people think, you know, the word of check in seems dominant. It make people think, you know, like you have to. Like they constantly.
Yeah. But that's why I said take out a personal pad and take notes, because we're gonna take you back to school and hope that you get educated with this. This ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't care about answering to somebody that I need to answer to.
Queens is the biggest borough, right? Queens, I used to break down Queens like the buses and the trains. Because we all the trains, left, right, Queensbridge, Astoria, West Side. But then there's a part, you get the Parsons Boulevard, you take the down the vans or the buses. So that's how I break down Queens on this lesson, right? So I see the Queens on the buses. And at one point going to South Jamaica, you just couldn't go to South Jamaica unless you had a friend. You couldn't go to 40 Projects, you couldn't go to Basic. I had to have my friend or my cousins or my uncle or somebody, and I had to hit them, and nothing wrong with that.
But it was everything that was going on over there. It was organized, and then and being organized, it was also protected. Right. You understand what I'm saying? We was on all sides, because we was on the north side and the south side. We came from both sides. Wow. You understand what I'm saying? But Corona was really me.
Wow. Wow.
Corona was me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like a lot of stuff that I did in Yeah, it's like I did a lot of stuff in Corona. But it's like, literally, we could go everywhere. And then we had a sister that was international. Like, she was everywhere.
Yeah, this is a movie about y'all family.
Yeah, it's like she was everywhere.
They gotta make a movie just about y'all family, bro.
Like, it was crazy how it was, but it was the corruption that we were still under, because you had to understand, and it was multicultural.
Well, you know what's crazy? I mean, because, like you just said, when you make a movie, I got like 5 sisters. Right. You know, one night I'm in the crib, Mike Tyson is banging on the window. Yeah. Mike Tyson's banging on the window looking for one of my sisters.
Wait a minute.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop right there. Hold on.
Mike Tyson.
And then, wait, is this Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson.
Not like he coming up, Mike. He's already Mike.
No, he's coming up. He's like, he's there. He's a champion. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but my sisters, they so wild and crazy. Yeah. They want a nigga named Bug Out. They don't want Mike Tyson. They don't want DMC. They don't want Dave Edwards who played Georgetown.
And DMC made music in my mother's living room, right inside there with his big 40-ounce 800.
You look like the 4th member of Run DMC at one point.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Leo Cohen, he tried to kick me and Hurricane off the tour.
He tried to kick you off the tour?
Yeah, because we was fighting every day. Every city we went to, me and Hurricane. Hurricane. Every city we went to, we fought. One time, this dude do like 1,000.
He was the road manager there.
Yeah, he's the road manager.
He was carrying suitcases and looking at him to that.
So this dude, he threw like 1,000 chains that run performing. Like and dudes do chains on the stage that run. Chains, like quarters, dimes, nickels.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Disrespectful. Yeah. So me and Kane, I got the right side, Kane got the left side. So Run look at through the mic like, that's him. And we like, we got him, right? So he in the audience. So now the dude throws some more chains. Me and Hurricanes run across the stage. Dive in the audience, get some, we do what we gotta do. Now we dragging him out. right? So now I got his legs. Hurricane got his top. He's out. We knocked him out and everything. So we dragging him out. So Mookie and Garfield.
I got them
Garfield. So Mookie and Garfield, they said, yo, let him go, baby, let him go, let him go, let him go. Right? So now they were LL. They ain't with us. We were running them see LL Cool J was on tour too. So I said, yo.
This tour is, by the way. How crazy is
it? This is crazy.
He's saying it like it's light shit. You know, even if it's LL, like, what you see now? Yeah, I'm sorry. Your life is dope, right, nigga? Your life is dope,
So I told Kane, I said, yo, drop his legs. I'm gonna, you know, he didn't drop his legs. I dropped the nigga on his head.
Wow.
Niggas the boat. So now, 4 days later, I ain't get into that. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Let's stay focused now.
Yeah, stay focused.
Yeah, let's stay focused.
Yeah, man.
Alright, so
drinking this shit.
No, you saying for people to take notes. Who's supposed to check in?
No, it teaches you. Listen, one of the things that happens as this go on, as the years go on, the history changes because they change the history. Okay.
Put it like this. Put it like this. I checked in with you.
Coming here.
I would call you every time I came here. You had the weed and the ecstasy. Let's see, I'm calling this nigga. I'm calling this nigga.
Yeah, but you get stuck on check-in. It's a respect thing. That should respect. It's really respect. It's not about.
I want to be somebody that's fucking from there.
Yeah.
I'm saying it where it's relatable because the thing about it is, if I don't know nobody there, you know what I did? In this place is, and I love to say this place is in Düsseldorf, Germany.
You love that place.
They've never been in the office. They don't know what the hell they say, but you gotta make your crew so when you comfortable, you can live the same way everywhere you go.
Thank you.
Everywhere you
Yeah, Walker don't go to no matter what state we go to, what country, he needs the hood.
Right.
He wants to go straight to the hood. Every time I go somewhere, I need to go straight there. I need to see what's going on in your city. I need to know who is who and what's happening there. You have to understand that even for me as the woman and what they were so upset about, nigga, what y'all don't understand, the streets had me. I was good to them, and they stayed good to me. I didn't act like I didn't know them because I remember where I came from. I'll never forget where I come from because I could always go back there. Everything that goes up comes down, and everything and everybody has an expiration date. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to be able to go wherever I can go and be that same person. If you see me in a Dollar Tree, don't ask me what the hell I'm doing in there. What the hell you doing in there? You understand what I'm saying? I'm doing what you doing. Don't ask me that. You see me at Walmart, speak to me. Don't stare at me like I'm some kind of freak. And you got me looking at me saying, damn, what happened? You know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with my wig crooked and something happening. Like, what's going on? Because they stare like you're crazy. Or, I didn't think you would be up in here. Well, what job you got thinking?
Well, here's a question for all of y'all. Here's a question, and I'm ready for a shot at it, I think. This question for all of y'all. Do y'all realize that y'all are celebrities too? Like, yo, that's
it's not a celebration time now. A celebrity is about celebration to me. What do you celebrate? I'm not ready to celebrate yet.
I gotta disagree with you.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
What I mean is there's people who want to be you. Once there's a person that wants to be you, you're a celebrity. Like, when there's girls somewhere that's gonna say, nah, I'm gonna do a real shot. I'm gonna do a real shot. Give me I'm gonna do a real shot. Give me this.
You cannot disrespect that goddamn drink on camera. When you just
Good grammar and spelling are important. But if you want to write essays that inspire, messages that forge brighter connections, and emails that get the job done, you need to think about more than just grammar and spelling.
It's often said age is just a number, and there's no better example than an officer in southern Arkansas. Here's CBS's Omar Villafranca.
He drives around in an unmarked police car, but everyone in Camden, Arkansas knows his name.
Hey!
91-year-old L.C. Buckshot Smith is the oldest police officer in the state. He moves a little slower now, but he still walks the beat of his hometown 4 days a week.
How y'all doing?
What makes you a good police officer, even at 91?
This badge and gun don't make you a police officer.
Hello, Mr. Buckshot.
You got to respect people.
He earned his popularity by working more than 4 decades for the Washita County Sheriff. That's him in the photo holding the shotgun. After 46 years as a deputy, he retired for only 5 months.
I don't hunt, I don't fish.
So in his 80s, he became a rookie Camden cop. He carries a firearm, but he doesn't have to use it.
He knows your mama and he knew your grandma. So he has the authority to speak into our lives.
How many people do you think you've arrested in your career?
I've taken more people's home than I taken to jail.
Officer Smith says he'll retire when the good Lord tells him to. Until then, Buckshot plans to keep rolling and patrolling. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Camden, Arkansas.
When preparing a proper meal, always set your fork at 9 o'clock. Sit up straight. We never slouch. No elbows on the table. Always pass the serving dishes to the right. Proper attire is a must. Always present guests with a timely dinner invitation. And never, ever, ever be late to the dinner table.
I've seen how cancer can affect the people I care about. That's why I'm helping protect myself against some cancers, like certain cancers caused by HPV. For most people, HPV clears on its own, but for those who don't clear the virus,
A Georgia man is in custody accused of killing 8 people in a horrific shooting spree at 3 different massage parlors in the Atlanta area yesterday. The spree began around 5 p.m. when police say 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long walked into Young's Asian Massage in Cherokee County, about 30 miles north of Atlanta, and opened fire, killing 4 people and injuring another. Police say he then drove south to Atlanta and shot and killed 3 people inside the Gold Spa. He then crossed the street, according to police, to the aromatherapy spa and killed another woman there. Investigators say surveillance video shows the suspect in his car at all 3 crime scenes. He was arrested driving south about 150 miles from Atlanta. Officials say 6 of the 8 victims appear to be Asian. This comes amid an increase in attacks on the Asian community since the coronavirus pandemic. The New York Police Department says it will deploy counterterrorism officers to Asian communities in the city out of abundance of caution. A lot going on, but this concern about hate crimes. Willie.
Yeah, let's go right down to Atlanta. That's where we find NBC News correspondent Blaine Alexander. Blaine, good morning. So are the police saying yet what the motive may be here? Obviously, people drawing a lot of conclusions based on who these victims are. What exactly happened, and what do police know about why it happened?
Well, Willie, good morning to you. No, police are not quite yet saying what a motive is. They're not releasing a motive, but they're saying that they're not ruling anything out. So they are investigating a number of things. Among the things that they are looking at is the possibility of whether this was a hate crime, whether this was racially motivated. So we do know that police are continuing their investigation. It actually unfolded really over two different counties, two different jurisdictions. So you've got Atlanta Police and you've got the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. And all of this unfolded over the span of about an hour or so. So right now I'm standing at the Gold Spa. This is where one of the two shootings happened. The other, of course, went right across the street. But it actually all started about 45 minutes north of here at Woodstock, near Woodstock. That's where the first shooting took place. And then just about an hour later or so, police got called. Police got calls for one incident. And then while they were responding to that, they got additional calls for shots fired across the street. Now, as far as motive, we do know that in the initial calls over scanner traffic, when we kind of listened to some of the scanner traffic, officers in the area were forced to check on Asian spas. That was something that they said. They said, hey, it started up in Cherokee County. Anybody who can check on Asian spas in the area is forced to do so, according to Atlanta Police scanner traffic. Now, of course, we've heard from a number of organizations. We've heard from the Korean consulate here who said that four women who were killed here in Atlanta are of Korean descent. We've also heard from the group Stop AAPI Hate, which has come out and saying that this is essentially something that only increases the fear, increases the anxiety that so many people in the Asian American community are feeling this morning. So, of course, we're going to hear from Atlanta Police at about 10:30 this morning. We do expect them to hold a news conference here. Those are a number of the questions that we're going to be asking if they're any closer to determining what the motive is here, Willie.
So, Blaine, as you said, the first shooting took place a little bit northwest of downtown. Then the alleged shooter, moved into the city and then was caught a couple of hours south. The Georgia State Police spun him out on I-75. What more do we know about this shooter? Have they talked to him? Have they interrogated him? Do we know anything about his background?
We don't know a whole heck of a lot. We do know that he's 21 years old. He's from Georgia, a 21-year-old who's actually from Cherokee County, where that first shooting originated, according to officials. And yeah, he was apprehended about 2.5 hours south of that initial shooting location. So you kind of just think about the first shooting happened. Again, officials believe that he is connected to all three shootings. They're placing his car in both of the locations and the same car that he was apprehended in later. So when you kind of think about that timeline, it goes from Cherokee County down to this area, down to Kristin County, which is where he was apprehended about 2 hours south of here. So again, not a lot of information known about him right now. He is in custody. He has been apprehended and certainly being questioned.
And again, as you're talking, we're looking at the surveillance photos of him and his car at all shooting locations. NBC's Blaine Alexander covering the story in Atlanta this morning. Blaine, thanks so much.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite NBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.
Work your style without overworking your hair. For salon quality hair at home, Tresemme Keratin Repair with Bondflex technology builds new hair bonds with every wash. Get 20 times stronger hair with new Tresemme Keratin Repair.
Say whatever you want on the First Amendment. You can say racist, stupid stuff if you want. But I'm asking you to please stop using racist terms like Kung Flu, or Wuhan virus, or other ethnic identifiers in describing this virus. I am not a virus. And when you say things like that, it hurts the Asian American community.
Today's House Judiciary hearing on the disturbing rise in anti-Asian violence in our nation since the start of the pandemic was scheduled before a gunman murdered 8 people, including 6 Asian women, at 3 Atlanta area spas. Of course, just a day after that happened, the attack was large, as Democratic lawmakers appealed to Republicans, from Donald Trump on down, to stop using the kinds of language that people have long warned would inevitably increase anti-Asian hatred and bigotry. Republican Congressman Chip Roy of Texas largely dismissed those concerns, to the consternation of Democrats on the committee.
My concern about this hearing is that it seems to want to venture into the policing of rhetoric in a free society, free speech, and away from the rule of law taking out bad guys. I think the Chinese Communist Party running the country of China, I think they're the bad guys.
I want to go back to something that Mr. Roy said earlier. Your president and your party and your colleagues can talk about issues with any other country that you want, but you don't have to do it by putting a bullseye on the back of Asian Americans across this country, on our grandparents, on our kids. This hearing was to address the hurt and pain of our community and to find solutions, and we will not let you take our voice away from us.
What if I told you I don't care about the condition of the home? I don't care if there's rotten food in the fridge, dirt on the floor, old furniture. It doesn't matter. I've seen it all. I'm willing to make an offer on your house in 24 hours, close in about 10 days, and there's no commission.
Joined now by one of the lawmakers you heard at the hearing, Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu of California, along with former prosecutor and MSNBC legal contributor Katie Fang, wrote today that the Atlanta shootings will test Georgia's new hate crimes law. Congressman, let me start with you, and I thought both that was Congresswoman Grace Meng of Queens, if I'm not mistaken, and the things that you said to your colleagues. You know, one thing that was striking at the hearing today and that I've been hearing is just, you know, people expressing a lot of years of hurt and trauma of the firsthand bigotry they've experienced, and seeing the cost of that. And I thought that really I found that very affecting and moving today at the hearing. I wonder how you felt just watching it unfold.
Thank you, Chris, for your question. There has actually been a long history of discrimination against Asian Americans. In the past, when America felt threatened, sometimes you would have discrimination against ethnic groups. So we had the whole yellow peril hysteria, followed by the Chinese Exclusion Act. You had the internment of over 120,000 Japanese Americans. With the rise of Japan in the 1980s and fears of that, you had Vincent Chen, who was murdered. And now you have this pandemic causing a surge in Asian American hate crimes. And many in the community have experienced this, and they were expressing it nationally at this hearing. And that was a good thing for people to understand.
You know, Katie, I want to talk a little bit about the hate crime question, because I think it's a category people have a hard time actually getting their arms around. There's an intuitive sense, right, that someone who commits a criminal act out of hatred of a certain ethnic group is committing it. I want to play you what the Atlanta PD said today, and then get your thoughts about what actually we're dealing with legally, statutorily. So this is what the Atlanta police had to say today.
The investigation into a possible hate crime, that's still on the table.
Our investigation is looking at everything, so nothing is off the table for our investigation.
You wrote today for us about the sort of difficulty of these prosecutions. What is your sense of where this investigation sits and what that bar is to clear?
Well, the spokesperson for the Atlanta PD, Chris, did the right thing versus what we heard yesterday during that press conference with the Cherokee County Sheriff's Department, where they basically dehumanized the victims, humanized the shooter, and basically parroted what could potentially be a false narrative from the shooter in this case.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Tonight we are learning more about some of the 8 victims of that horrific shooting spree in the Atlanta area on Tuesday. Elena Ashley Yon was 33 years old, a wife and mother to 2 children. She and her husband Mario were at Young's Asian Massage on Tuesday for a relaxing spa day, just to get a little time to themselves. When the shooting began, they were in 2 different rooms. Mario was able to lock himself inside one of those rooms and escape uninjured. Family members described Elena as their rock, who always welcomed people into her home and threw the best birthday and holiday parties. Paul Andre Michaels, age 52, was a veteran from the U.S. Army Infantry. Described by his brother as a hard-working local business owner, he was working as a handyman at the Ackworth Spa, filling shelves there on Tuesday afternoon when the shooting took place. Michaels leaves behind his wife of more than 20 years. 49-year-old Xiaojian Tan was the owner of Young's Asian Massage and at least one other spa in the area. She was a licensed massage therapist herself. She emigrated from China many years ago, a friend told USA Today. Tan, who went by Emily, had a daughter who recently graduated from the University of Georgia. A friend described her as, quote, the sweetest person you'd ever meet. In the first 24 hours after the shootings, the humanity of those victims was largely obscured, while the shooters was on full display. Police portrayed him as a struggling sex addict having a, quote, bad day.
He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction, and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate. He was pretty much fed up and had been kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
That officer, Captain Jay Baker with the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, has faced, as you've probably seen, a lot of criticism for those remarks. Perhaps even more since it was revealed that he posted a photo on Facebook last year showing a racist T-shirt referring to COVID-19 as an imported virus from China. Seems like a reference to the former president. That is what an officer investigating the murder of Asian American women thinks. That's what he chose to post publicly because he thought it was funny. It puts into stark relief this question that we've been facing a lot recently, frankly. Which kinds of perpetrators and suspects are seen as full human subjects? People who you can model the internal states of, someone who got out of control or did something unruly or had a bad day, and which perpetrators and suspects are just savages and animals and thugs and violent criminals. Republican Senator Ron Johnson said it loud and clear after the attack on the Capitol.
by my machine. That shouldn't be a problem. I'll have your personal vehicle collected as soon as possible.
preparing a proper meal, always set your fork at 9 o'clock. Proper attire is a must. And never be late to the dinner table.
What do a painting contractor, social media manager, and wellness entrepreneur have in common? They're all passionate self-starters with big dreams who want to...
They keep trying to find the answers with us, and they keep failing because the answers aren't here. I let them dig up my yard in 2007. They could have had a field day there. I would like to see the family have their answers. If it was my daughter, I'd want the answers.
That was the mother of Paul Flores, someone who's being looked at in the disappearance of Kristin Smart, the last person known to be with her when she disappeared. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, but today in the death of George Floyd murder trial, 3 more jurors were seated. Court TV cameras in the courtroom. At the top of the hour, Court TV legal correspondent Julie Janae will be joining me to discuss the impact that the announcement of the record $27 million civil settlement is having on jury selection and the big explosion at the end of the day by the judge. But first, let's bring back our law enforcement professionals with us. Joe Stead, Dr. Jason Piccolo still with us, and this next one, wow, from KSBY in San Luis Obispo, California, new developments in the Kristin Smart disappearance.
A 7:30 a.m. wake-up call at Ruben Flores' Arroyo Grande home has turned into an all-day search. The San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office served Ruben Paul Flores' father a search warrant Monday in connection to the 1996 disappearance of Cal Poly student Kristin Smart. Paul has been referred to as a person of interest in the case until now. Officials upgrading that title to prime suspect.
Open the door, I'm like, holy, wow, they're outside. There's the caution tape over there, and I'm like, this is real. There's, I see police undercovers, and I see you guys.
Justin Negretti lives with his grandpa across the street from that search on White Court. Both of them watched as investigators used cadaver dogs and ground-penetrating radar to search under the lower deck of the Flores house. 2 cadaver dogs, a yellow lab, and a German shepherd searched the inside and outside of a dusty 1985 Volkswagen Cabriolet pulled out from the right side of the garage. 1 dog alerted to the driver's door. The car, showing 2010 registration stickers and last registered to Ruben and Susan Flores, was then confiscated and put into evidence.
Many, many years ago, they went all through, basically, and I thought, that's it, but now it's new and explosive.
Tom remembers when the Flores family moved in decades ago. He says Ruben is a quiet neighbor and a nice man, but like many others, he hopes for justice in the Smart case.
I just pray for the Smart family, and I pray that they get the finality to this.
25 years ago, but could there be enough evidence to make this an active case again? Dr. Jason Piccolo, I'll start with you. Upgrading Paul Flores now to prime suspect.
When you bring out cadaver dogs and they're hitting on something, there's going to be some sort of forensic evidence, you would think. So if they're going to be pulling that car in, they're going to be running it for everything. They're going to be looking for DNA. They're going to look for any transference from the victim to the crime. So yes, forensic evidence does last a long time, and especially if that vehicle was any way preserved.
Joe is dead. 25 years ago, she disappeared, and now it looks like things are heating up again.
Yeah, anytime you can, regardless of how long it is, if you can get new evidence, new pieces to the puzzle, then yes, you work it, and you work it. You hear all the time, a case is closed. A case is never closed. It's always pending or becomes a cold case. But it's never closed until either it's clear or the statute of limitations run out. So the time doesn't matter. Sometimes it takes time to get new evidence. So, I mean, this is a good lead. I hope they find enough to actually clear this file because the family needs closure.
Yes, Dr. Jason Piccolo, I think about this, it's been 25 years for this family and the people in the community as well. And now, 25 years later, we're confiscating a car. I am just really surprised by that. Like, I don't even know, was that car there 25 years ago? Or did she disappear and somehow is that car connected to her body over all these years?
You know, I think something's going on in the background that's obviously we don't know about. For them to reopen this case after this many years, they had to either got a tip or someone said, hey, you need to take a look at something. And maybe what they said was, you need to go really take a good look at that car, because there might be something you really want to look in there. So maybe there was a confession somewhere along the line. Maybe, you know, they got new information from someone else.
Yeah, Joe, that's something else that we've heard in other cases where, you know, after the passage of time, finally someone will release that piece of information that, again, gets things going.
Yeah, a lot of times, depending on the situation, because I've seen people get in trouble, and people are always trying to will and deal themselves out of trouble. And the community knows exactly what happened. Somebody knows what happened. So if you can get some information that will kind of help you within your situation, but clear a case like this, I've seen this done all the time, happen years later. I'm in trouble, so let me use this get out of jail free card to give information that I know to be good information. And as you know, being a DA, it works.
Jess is busy moving her Xfinity internet and TV services. It only takes about a minute. What have you been doing for the last few hours? Jess is busy moving her Xfinity internet and TV services. It only takes about a minute. What have you been...
We're back on the record in 18.